Hey there, my name is Anthony Romano, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the best protein powders to consume on a ketogenic diet. So, as I say oftentimes in my videos, I've been doing the ketogenic diet for 7 years, and I'm a big bodybuilding fan. I've do bodybuilding all throughout that time and a little bit longer. And basically, I've done all the different proteins, I've tried all the different methods, I've tried every right way and every wrong way with the ketogenic diet for bulking, cutting, maintaining. I've done it all. I have more years of experience with it than most of the people on YouTube, and that's why I'm hopping into this full force. But this also applies to protein powders and supplements. For the most part, I've tried them all. When it comes to which protein powder is the best for keto, I'm talking about which type of protein powder. So I have a video on whey protein powder. Perhaps that's even how you got to my page. But if you haven't seen that video and you wanted to learn about whey protein and its effects, you're going to learn a lot more in that video than this one, because I'm going to gloss over it a little bit here. I'm going to talk about casein, whey, egg white protein, and plant-based protein, and basically tell you about the different results that you'll experience with each of those protein sources and what situations are most optimal for them on keto. So the first one is casein protein. A lot of people basically view casein as lower tier than whey protein. It doesn't necessarily have to be. So when you have casein protein, it is slower digesting. There is a lot lower of an insulin spike with casein protein. Whey protein has the highest effect on your blood insulin, and it actually has one of the biggest effects on your blood insulin compared to any protein source. So if you're going to get a protein powder that is whey based, in general, you got to be a little bit careful, because you don't want to be pounding back those shakes all the time. And every time you're having whey, you're going to want to have it with a fat source. At least that's one takeaway from my video on whey. With casein protein, you wouldn't necessarily have to have it with a fat source. It's not something I'd recommend people to be pounding back casein shakes all day. However, it is going to digest slower, it is going to spike your blood insulin a lot less, and it is a better choice if you find one that you like. You don't have to pick just one of these. It's just about varying things up and understanding the effects of each type of protein. So the casein protein is going to be a little bit more optimal. Some people like having it before bedtime, especially if you're doing a keto bulk. It's absolutely optimal, I will tell you that. The insulin still is not a problem necessarily on a keto bulk, because you do need insulin. Well, insulin is important for muscle building. A lot of people will tell you that carbs are the important factor for muscle building and you need those, but the short answer is that you actually need the insulin, and eating carbs will raise your insulin. So eating certain protein sources and other things will raise your insulin as well. Just depends on what you're doing. So if you're trying to bulk on keto, you might actually have better usage for the casein and the whey and its insulinogenic effects, the casein for just how slow and it digests and you can have it overnight time. So that's kind of the framing of the casein and the whey. When you're cutting and doing fat loss in general, the whey and its insulin isn't going to be the worst thing, but you should have it with a fat source. The casein, however, isn't going to be a problem, but oftentimes you'll find mixes of these proteins, and sometimes there's also egg white protein in there. So egg white protein is higher in leucine, which is very important for muscle building. And if you can get your hands on egg white protein, it is a little more pricey. It's not going to be any more particularly effective on your muscle building side of things, because the leucine itself can be achieved either through BCA supplementation or through eating actual eggs. So that is, one other way to get adequate leucine, or eating other good quality meats, stuff you can get plenty of leucine that way. So the egg whites itself has no inherent benefit. It's just really good to cook with. You can do other things with it in that sense. When it comes to plant protein powder, in general, this is a no-no. So there's a couple of reasons why. A lot of the plant protein powders are very heavy in carbs. So some of them do have fiber. There are some lower carbohydrate plant protein powders. However, even though they are plant-based and you can typically eat lots of greens on keto, and greens are very low glycemic, there are often many sugars and many hidden carbs in these plant powders, and they're not really optimal because they will spike your blood sugars for 95% of them. I mean, I think I've seen one time a vegan keto protein powder, which looked like, I was just surprised when I saw it, because most of those vegan powders or plant-based powders are higher in carbs. So it was very rare. I've never seen it in a retail location, only online. I got an advertisement once. And basically, I mean, technically you could go for that, but the thing is, with a vegan keto protein, so a plant-based keto protein, so one that presumably had less of a blood sugar spike or less of a high glycemic carb within it, right? More just lower dense, no added sugars, lower glycemic carbs in there. I mean, the thing, I didn't look at the back of this nutrition facts of this vegan keto protein. However, I'm guessing that it would be a bitch to digest. Okay, that's just my 2 cents, because a lot of the grains were not meant to be consumed in ridiculous amounts. I mean, there's a reason why you don't want to be having why nobody just chews spinach all day long, right? There's a reason why cows have 5 stomachs, for chewing just grass all day long, right? Humans don't have that digestive power, and although you should definitely get a good amount of greens in your keto diet, especially because it's such a good fat loss tool, it'll fill up your stomach, make you feel good, it's not something I would really recommend for a vegan keto powder. Now, with any other plant-based powder, again, they are going to be a little less smooth on digestion. However, the main concern is just the carbs and the added sugars, which a lot of them do have. So if you were going to opt for a protein powder on keto, you would be best with a casein, whey, or egg white. Now, if you're bulking, then whey and casein would be optimal. Egg white would be kind of like a luxury, with only added benefits of extra leucine, which is an anabolic, well, the most anabolic amino acid basically. It's involved in mTOR, which is the master muscle building process, that and insulin, which is also why I had that little rant about insulin earlier in this video. But in general, those would be good for actual protein shake consumption. If you're interested more in recipes and stuff, egg white protein powder would be a little more optimal. It's not going to denature as much in heat compared to whey powder. And overall, you can also check out, if you're interested in other recipes, I have bottom line, protein powder works well with cold rather than heat, and that's why I also have a video on keto chocolate, which you can find somewhere else on my page, where it involves freezing the whey protein powder. I mean, there are other little things I can touch on. There is hydrolyzed whey protein. That's basically going to have the same insulin effects as regular whey protein, just going to digest smoother. There are other things like that, but if you guys want me to talk about any other sort of protein powders, I'd be happy to do it. So ask me a comment, leave me a question, and I'll get back to you. I get back to every single person. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you and gave you some insight here. My name is Anthony Romano. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.